After 53 videos, 168,000 subscribers, over 13 million views. That's 878,000 watch hours. I thought it was time we get to know each other. Today I wanted to tell you about my life and my career, but I wanted to do it in the context of my knife. I noticed that I never really bought a whole set. Some people get them for wedding gifts, some people get them for when you move into a new house. I didn't, and I accumulated all these knives through different times of my life and career, and I want to share it with you today. So the first knife we really started out my culinary career. I worked in restaurants before I was 18, but after I graduated high school, I went to culinary school. And when you go to culinary school, they give you this big suitcase full of gear. And this is probably the only thing I have left from that big suitcase full of gear. And it is my 12-inch chef's knife that I used all the way through culinary school, where I just really learned all of the basics of cooking. Now, culinary school doesn't teach you everything. They just get you started with the basics. And I love knife skills, and I loved using this knife all the way through culinary school. After culinary school, I had the first cool job in the restaurant business, and it was the mansion on Turtle Creek in Dallas. I had some family that had worked there, and they got me in. It was a very fancy restaurant, Michelin stars, 5 diamonds, all that stuff. And it was so cool of an experience. We would cook for celebrities, we cooked for vice presidents. It was an amazing experience, and I worked banquets. Basically, in the banquet kitchen, you worked all the time. You worked breakfast, lunch, dinner, sometimes all 3 in one day. It was the toughest and longest I've ever worked in my life. And it was a year, but it was it was almost like Navy SEAL training for chefs. And at that point in my life, I thought that I was going to be a fine dining chef. That was my track. That was the only thing I thought about. The thing about this knife, this got me through not only culinary school, but that year at the mansion on Turtle Creek. And I sharpened this thing so many times. It's really supposed to be much bigger than this. And we can tell it's just worn down over the years of sharpening it. I think the last time I actually used it might have been at the mansion on Turtle Creek. I just keep it in my knife roll just to look at it every once in a while and remember that experience. The next one we're going to talk about came a little bit later after the mansion on Turtle Creek, and this is a 6-inch chef's knife. Now, why do I have one of these? It's a very special knife to me because it is a gift that I gave to the future Mrs. Wizard, my girlfriend at the time, who then became my wife, and she was moving into a new apartment. She was finishing up college, and it was a very important time for her because she was moving out of the dorms and living by herself. And so I got her this knife, along with a couple of quick knife skills lessons. She was on her way to cooking for herself, and it's just we still have this knife. She still uses it all the time. Again, it's a nice throwback thought because you're like, man, where did I get this? Oh yeah, that moment that I gave her this knife. And she was so surprised. It was probably the most surprised she's ever been for any gift I've ever given her. Really means a lot to me, and I wanted to share that with you today. Next, we're gonna fast forward. I'm married, we have a couple of kids. I've spent the better part of a decade working in different restaurants, back of the house, kitchen managers, different things like that. I then land my dream job. Now, my dream job was to be a culinary school instructor. It was such a cool job. I got to work with young people, I got to work with adults. This was a great job. Not only did I teach knife skills and sanitation and all these other things, I got to teach upper level classes, which is like the restaurant management classes and all these other things, but I also got to teach meat classes. And this is where a lot of my love of meat butchery really got honed. I had done it for my whole career in different facets, but this was the time I really got to focus on it. And it was really beneficial for not only my learning and my practice, but also to share that with my students. So this is a Santoku knife. Kind of a funny story about this knife. This is a knife that was in the kit that all the students got when they signed up for culinary school. So there was knives in there's whisks and spatulas and all kinds of stuff. Well, this one was left in my room after class one day and no one came and got it. So if you're out there, Karen, if this is your knife, find a way to get a hold of me and I'll send it back to you. So now we're kind of getting to present day where we're going to talk about how I ended up on YouTube. I would make videos during my days off, and it would be like, I really wanted to teach. I wanted to get back to that culinary school roots. All my kids are older, they're all in school all day, so I really try to take that time to continue teaching. YouTube had been a ton of fun. I learned how to get my camera going and make a video. My 8th video went crazy. Over 1 million views in 4 days. I told people how to cut a whole ribeye that they buy from Costco. Some of you have seen that video. I hope all of you have, but again, if you haven't, go check it out. It was a cool video, but that was the one that really started my channel to go to the next level. Shortly after that, I hit a couple more videos, done really well, and we built this community, this Butcher Wizard community. And it inspired me through teaching people how to cut meat that also they needed some new gear. So this is where the Butcher Wizard knife collection was born. No one is more surprised than me of all this, that I made a YouTube channel, that it resonated with a bunch of people, and that now we have a knife. Now that we have a knife collection, we have 2 knives. This 10-inch breaking knife and a 6-inch boning knife, which as you see, these are the ones that I use the most. This is the size knife that I use the most. I just really took time to get them manufactured. I had to go through and find the right handles to make sure that they really felt good in your hand and, keep them inexpensive. I am so excited to share this with you guys. You can go click the link in the description to buy one. Man, I just can't thank you all enough for being on this ride with me. Again, I don't do too many of these videos where I talk about me. It's all about you guys. It's all about you guys doing these projects. I just wanted to drop in one video that's told you where I come from and kind of my experience. Thank you so much for watching. In 2024, we're gonna do even more stuff. I cannot wait. Let's go to the next one.